You know what time it is? It's the time of the show where we get together and we have a great old time. I know there's only 2 games. Shut up. We're still doing it. Here's the picks. All right. So, look, we only got 2 games, obviously. Conference championship weekend. We're going to break down these games with about as much depth as I can. I want to try to spend, a good amount of time on each of these games. Breaking it down, going back and forth, seeing, rationalizing with myself. So, first of all, we'll just talk about our picks. Seth is taking the Ravens. I think we're going to just end up having the same picks this week. I agree. I'm going to take the Ravens as well. Look, on the one side, you have the Chiefs. And the Chiefs this postseason have looked like the Chiefs that we sort of expected them to be. Patrick Mahomes is winning them games. It's like all of a sudden their wide receivers learned how to catch the football. I don't know if people have known, you have, MVS catching deep balls. I was like, is that really? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just put Kadarius Toney in inactive and suddenly everybody gets their talent back. I don't know if it's a Space Jam situation. If I don't know, he's got alien powers and he's just sucking the talent out of the wide receiver room. Travis Kelce is, he's old and he's not exactly the Travis Kelce of yesteryear, but he's still an effective tight end. As much as I hate to bet against the Chiefs, it seems like, and this is going to be kind of a corny answer, I know, it just seems like the Ravens want it more. And there's a little bit of house money involved with the Chiefs, so there is that edge to it, right? Where they're thinking, we got nothing to lose and everything to gain, we got a chance to go to the Super Bowl for the 2nd straight season, get a chance to win our 2nd straight Super Bowl in a year where certainly nobody believed in them this year. I will be one of them. I thought there was something off with the Chiefs. The moment they lost to the Raiders on Christmas, that was when I was like, oh, okay, this Chiefs team isn't that good. But let alone, they're back. They're back in the AFC Championship. They're thick and thin. They managed to get through it. And they are a defensive team. Their defense is absolutely lights out. And the question is, will they be able to stop Lamar Jackson? I want to say these teams played earlier in the season. Why am I blanking on that? I don't know I can't remember if they did. I think they did. I'm not sure. But if they didn't, I don't know. I don't know if they did or didn't. I don't remember the result. So we're going to assume this is their first meeting. But with the Chiefs, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to do it on the defensive side of the football. Or, alternatively, their offense has got to play better than it has ever played, because the Ravens' offense is going to score a lot of points. And on to that point, we'll talk a little about the Ravens. We'll talk a little about the Ravens. Okay? So, I want to just take a look here. I can see just their roster. Okay? Can I see their depth chart? Can I see that? Okay, it's loading. Let's say. I want their depth chart. Can I get a depth chart? I want a printable roster. Depth chart. Here we are. This is what I'm looking for. Okay? All right. Let me just run down for you some of this depth chart. All right? Okay? In the wide receiver room, they got Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar. I mean, you might as well just say, you know what? We're cheating. we're the Baltimore cheaters. And not because we're making any rules, because you have 4 high-level wide receivers like that. When your worst wide receiver is Odell Beckham Jr., it's like the 2019 LSU team where their worst player was Randy Moss's kid. It's like, oh, okay, you're just cheating at this point. And then obviously, Lamar Jackson playing out of his freaking mind. He is playing at the MVP level. He is living up to that contract, and you got to hand it to him. He bet on himself. He believed in himself, and it's paying off. And look, they don't have Mark Andrews. I don't know if Mark Andrews is going to come back for this game. He's not listed on the depth chart, but you have Isaiah Likely playing Mark Andrews. Does that work? Anyone? Hello? Is anybody still? Okay, fair enough. And then in the running back room, you got my man's Gus the Bus Edwards. And you don't even need Gus the Bus to be so super elite, right? Gus the Bus can be solid. But you have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson last week was their leading rusher. So you don't even need Gus the Bus to be, Derrick Henry. You just need him to be relatively efficient. And even then, please, just throw up a design run for Lamar. It's over. This offense is just so incredibly potent. It's to the point where, again, it's just not fair. They just call it cheating. It's just called cheating in this world. And then on the flip side, on the defense, you got Roquan Smith, Kyle Van Noy, you got Marcus Williams at safety, you got Marlon Humphrey at cornerback. Again, cheating, not fair, not fun. Seriously, I mean, to the point where we basically, you know what? We might as well just give you guys the Pro Bowl team because that's your team. Your team is the Pro Bowl team. Like it's just like, again, it's a similar problem where, like, oh, if your worst player on defense is Jadeveon Clowney, you probably feel pretty good. Like Jadeveon Clowney, who, yeah, I understand, wasn't the level of player that people wanted or expected him to be, but he's having a pretty solid year. People are kind of missing out on him, funny enough, and that's because the rest of his defense is having a great year. Like, and it's just this Ravens team is just too good. And then obviously special teams, you got Justin Tucker. That's your whole special teams. I don't care about anything else. If it comes down to just head-to-head Chiefs-Ravens, the Ravens I just think they're just better. And it's not anything against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a really good defense, but if you put the Chiefs offense up against this Ravens defense, I just don't see it working out. I just don't. So we're going to take the Ravens here. We move along to the game that I am emotionally invested in, the game that I think we all know what's going on. We're both taking the Lions. Seth is taking the Lions. I'm so happy for him. He's joined it. We're a team of destiny. The Lions, okay. Well, first, let's talk about the 49ers. So, look, I've talked about it before. The 49ers, you basically want to pick your poison with who's on offense. It's like, oh, they're not throwing it to Debo. Well, they'll just throw it to George Kittle or Brandon Ayuk, or they'll hand it off to McCaffrey, or they'll throw it to McCaffrey, or they'll just, I don't know, they'll throw it to Trent Williams. Why not? Trent Williams is listed as eligible. He'll probably catch a deep pass. I don't know. He's a big guy. I don't know. Why not? That's fun. And Brock Purdy is playing, Brock Purdy football, which is to say effective football. Like, this 49ers team, basically, to me, is like the evolved form of the Lions, right? Like, their defense is just a little bit better. It's a lot of it better. And their offense is experienced and raring and ready to go, right? Like, it's a unit in San Fran, and they are probably primed and ready to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I'm trying to think of a weakness on this team. It's like there isn't one. You have a Bosa on one side, you have a Chase Young on the other. It's bad news, okay? It's bad news on the defensive side. Let me pull up their depth chart, okay? Because it's basically the same darn thing. Like, it is absolutely, it is cheating in real life. Like it's just, let me see. Let's see. You have Chase Young in the defensive back room. You have Charvarius Ward, and then obviously you have Fred Warner. You have just too many great players on defense. Now, again, I think the reason I'm taking the Lions here, for one, is because I'm a fan of the Lions and I want the Lions to win. So I figure if I'm going to be rooting for the Lions, at least then I'll also have picked them, right? So then I get it right. Not like it's going to matter for the standings for the postseason. I'm already going to win because we're both taking the same thing this conference championship game. But look, on the other side of it, okay, there's a part of me as a fan, I want to try to separate it, but I can't truly. I'm up front with you. I'm a Lions fan. I'm going to give you things from a Lions fan's perspective. I think this is kind of a team of destiny. I think that because of just they can find ways to win in multiple ways. And not like the 49ers don't do that. I'm not saying they don't. But it just, there's all the pressure on the 49ers, and the Lions playing with house money. And I think they love playing with house money. It was the same thing at the beginning of this season. When the Lions played the Kansas City Chiefs, it was house money. All the Lions had to do, really, was show up and look good, right? They didn't have to win. They just had to not get blown out. But they won out, and they won. And nobody was expecting that. Except me. I thought they were going to win the game. But even then, like, it was not, like, it wasn't live and die by winning this game, right? It was, If you can win this game, then you're for real. And right now, you're at this moment. This is the toughest challenge this Detroit Lions team has ever faced the entire season. And they've faced plenty of good teams. Don't even come at me with a schedule. Nothing. They've played plenty of good teams. They've won those games. They've lost some of those games too. But so have the 49ers. I mean, people forget the 49ers lost 3 straight games and going into their bye week, right? Like, it's not as though, you know, everything is hunky-dory in 49ers. And also, let me just point this out to the people, because this is a stat that I was not aware of. The Kirk Cousins curse, okay? Every team that has lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season does not play in the Super Bowl. Now, to be fair to this statistic, only 2 teams play in the Super Bowl. So, it's really not actually it doesn't, you know, there's a lot more in play. But you know who the 49ers did lose to earlier in this season? That's right. It was old Kirko. Old Kirko, the Minnesota Vikings. So, look, I don't think it's like the Lions are going in as 7-point underdogs. Like, I think if they're going to win this game, it's going to be close. Obvious. I think it's playoff football. All these games are going to be close. This is one of those games to me, though, that is defining of the future of this franchise. If you go in and you look terrible, like you get blown out, you know, it just ends the season on a sour note. And I know we've already done more than enough that we needed to. I understand. In general, you probably, you know, a few weeks go by, you look back, you're like, you know what, it was a good season. 49ers team is too good. But you have a chance to do something that has literally never been done in Detroit. And I think Dan Campbell's aware of it. I think those players are aware of it. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. We know this. And Kyle Shanahan, despite obviously those, I think, 4 NFC Championship appearances in the last 5 years, just 1 Super Bowl appearance out of those. So, like, again, to be fair, Lions have just 1 NFC Championship appearance in general outside of this one. So, you know, we're dealing with a difference. We're dealing with 2 similarly tough curses, if you will. But I look at the Lions, and they just look like the younger form of the 49ers. So in that sense, you might lean 49ers because they just have more experience. But in the other sense, I don't know. I think the Lions could shock the world. All they've done in prime time is win. Like, for the most part. Even that Cowboys game, which they basically should have won, they have won. They have won the game. So, look, I know I'm coming out as a Lions fan. I know people are going to say I'm biased. I understand. I'm going to take the Lions. Seth is also going to take the Lions. Team of Destiny. And that means we would get a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl, a rematch of the blowout loss that the Lions faced earlier in the season. You know they would want to try to reclaim that game for sure. So, that's it. That's how we're going to do it. So, run down the picks. Chiefs, Ravens, both taking the Ravens. Lions, 49ers, both taking the Lions. So we have a Lions, Ravens Super Bowl in our picks. So that is it for the Conference Championship picks. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.